The gardening season usually comes to an end here in October, but right now we still have a lot going on, so let's go take a look. This is that pepper plant that I grafted 7 different peppers onto, and it's easier to see some of the different types of peppers now. So today I'm going to harvest 8 different peppers from this one plant. The plant that received the grafts was a Sugar Rush Cream, and this is what they look like. The next pepper is Aji Rico, and this one is a mildly hot pepper. The next pepper is either a aji pineapple or an aji lemon drop, and they turn yellow when ripe. That little purple pepper in the middle is an F3 Black Pearl hybrid. Heritage Big Jim chili peppers can sometimes reach almost a foot in length. Buena Mulata peppers start out purple, but then turn red if left on the plant long enough. 1 ripe and 2 unripe Cuban L peppers. We like to heat shishito peppers in a little olive oil before we eat them. And there you have it, 8 different peppers picked from one plant. And that one plant is not the only plant we have left. We still have quite a few pepper plants that still have peppers on them to harvest. So it was time to harvest a few of those too. Here's a look at our shishito pepper plant over by the storm shelter. And as you can see, it's loaded with peppers, so it's time to pick some of those off. There are probably at least a couple dozen there that are ready to pick, and some small ones too. Even some of the pepper plants behind the shed are starting to get ripe peppers on them. Aji Rico has been a very productive pepper for us this year, and we still have lots of those to pick. This is what the aji pineapple peppers look like when they're fully ripe. They look very much like the aji lemon drop. The aji mango have less heat than the aji pineapple, but more than the aji Rico. Next, I picked some Sleeping Lady tomatoes and some aji lemon drop peppers. Here's a look at all those shishito peppers that I showed you earlier. It's quite a pile. Next, I picked a couple of Mega Golds and 1 Oda that I had grafted onto the same plant. Then there was 1 Roya and 1 Blot pepper ready. I went ahead and picked a few Heritage Big Jim peppers, even though they were a little on the small side. We also had a few small Cuban L peppers that were starting to ripen. By this time I was getting a little tired of picking peppers, but we still had some Buena Mulatas that were ready. And while I was walking out, I saw a couple of Odas, and I picked those too. We grew sweet potatoes in straw bales this year, so it was time to harvest some of those. The first ones you see here are yellow Jersey, and those are a little on the thin side. But the best is yet to come. Once I got the yellow Jersey sweet potatoes harvested, it was time to start on the Garnet red sweet potatoes. And those did very well, as you'll soon see. They did very well for us last year too, and it seems like just when you thought you've got them all, you start pulling out more. And some of them were very impressive in size too, like this one, and the one right next to it. I like to try lots of different types of sweet potatoes and other plants too, and this one has worked about as well as any of them in the straw bales. It's a very productive potato for us. I just put 3 slips in this straw bale, and as you can see, there are lots of potatoes that came from just those 3 slips. Thinking ahead to next year, I've grown quite a few different types of sweet potatoes in the straw bales now, and next year I think I'll narrow it down to the ones that have worked the best for me, and this is one of those. I couldn't help but wonder what my harvest would have looked like if I would have planted only this type of sweet potato, since it did the best by far. Like I mentioned before, just when I thought I was done, I would find more, like this really nice one. I really like how they came out nice and clean looking too. I've noticed that I don't get nearly as much scurf on my sweet potatoes as when I grow them in soil. Now let's take a closer look at some of those Garnet red sweet potatoes. They're orange on the inside, but the skins have a red tint to them. These are all just real nice looking, clean sweet potatoes. And I haven't even washed them off or anything yet. And this bunch has very little scurf, if any. I also harvested some sweet potatoes from the other straw bales, and here's a look at those. These light colored ones are a variety I got from the grocery store. It's unnamed. Then I have some Beauregard, and a few of those had a little scurf on them, but they're still good to eat. It only affects the skin. Then down on the end are some purple Molokai sweet potatoes. That's another one that I've grown before. I wanted to give you a quick look at our indoor peppers and how they're doing. I started out with about 30 of this type, and I culled them down to my 5 favorites. They've got little buds on them now, so they'll be blooming soon, and we'll be able to see what the peppers look like. These are F3s, and the F2 pepper that I saved seeds from had upright peppers. Here's what the F2 version looks like. It's about 7 inches tall and about 7 inches wide. On the F2, the leaves aren't nearly as pretty or nearly as large. Then we have 2 more lines that I'm carrying forward from the Purple Flash hybrids. And both of those are a little bit different. One of them I'm calling a dwarf because it is so short. The mother plant that I saved seeds from is only about 4.5 inches tall. Feel free to share your gardening activities with us. And if you're just now finding this channel and you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. We'll see you next time.